the savings to you. Now available at the 3 Fort Smith Valero Janmar locations. And stop by any of the 6 Janmar locations in the area. Janmar, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region. Has your job been grinding your gears lately? Then let me tell you about Lavorne Lumber. They're looking to fill a regional over-the-road position. They use brand new equipment in your home every weekend. Don't think you're getting paid enough? That's not the case at Lavorne Lumber. They're highly competitive in that area. So if this sounds like a great next job opportunity for you, then stop by and see Pam and the Bills Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 at Lavorne Lumber. 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith and online at Lavorne, Lovvorn lumber.com.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Increasing cloudiness through the overnight hours with chances for rain showers and thunderstorms by daybreak, especially across the northern part of the state. Lows in the mid to upper 60s. For Monday, a slight chance of rain showers in the morning, mostly sunny throughout the day, and high around 90 degrees.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits.
Terms and conditions apply.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 17 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Well, Matt Jones may take it to the house. The dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no mock at halftime.
That's even one Razorback.
And vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Good morning and a happy Monday and a welcome to your start of the week here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Olsen here along with Matt Jones. Christian Johnston producing today and for the next 3 hours. We've got you on halftime. Day after the Olympics has ended finally. It felt like it took a long, long time. Couple of weeks since the opening ceremonies. It closed yesterday. Big, big weekend and a couple of really entertaining basketball games to get to and another week of Arkansas football practice with 17 days to kick off. So it is all right there in front of us. And I just got to say, and I know I'll bring it up another time or two here because I know that there are plenty of parents that may be listening right now that had to be social director, entertainment director over the last couple of months. And maybe you're feeling like you're going to miss a little bit of that. But happy first day of school for most of the parents that are listening. Kids are at school today, and I don't know if I'd say it's sweet freedom, but it feels a little bit close to it. Good morning, Matt Jones. How was your weekend? What you up to?
Yes, sir. Man, that women's final game was pretty cool. I got to see that. France, the lady stepped on the line. Got to see Tom Cruise repel from was it Le Parc Stadium there, and it went into a thing where the Chili Peppers started playing, Billie Eilish started
Hollywood made, wasn't it?
Man, I'm telling you, the Olympics for theatrics this year, they had it going on.
But we're still taking it to the 80s and the 90s if that's going to be, at least the ambassadors, the ticket from France to the United States. Look, I love Tom Cruise, and I was a big Chili Peppers fan. To be honest, I haven't followed much of what they've done in the last 15 years or so.
They didn't play any new songs. That's
Right.
that's the songs they played, the songs Yeah.
I guess those could be some ambassadors
And then
moving
Snoop and Dr. Dre. So it was kind of to see where it's going already. They got the logo for the LA 28 and all that going on. So they're getting ready for it.
If I'm Snoop and they were paying him $500,000 a day just to be himself, that's $7 million to be at the Olympics. But that also meant he had to fly across the pond, or maybe 2 ponds, in order to get there. Los Angeles is home for him. I mean, it's kind of right out there by his front door. I don't know where he lives any longer. Not like I ever did to begin with, but it's not like he's got to take a flight to get to the next Olympics, although many of us will. Yeah, it was exciting. I guess I expected a blowout in the women's game and a really tight game in the men's game. And for a while, it looked like Team USA was pulling away with 13 points in the third quarter. But you got to give credit where credit is due to Les Bleus, Les Frenchmen, and they had me. If I was there, I'd have been shaking in whatever boots I was wearing for a moment until Steph Curry did his hero thing. It wasn't just Steph, but that's what we're kind of left with a lot of the memories. Thought LeBron played a great game. AD came up big off the bench when they needed him. Devin Booker as well. But, man, Matt, it we're going to be left with memories of those last 4 3-pointers in the last, 2.5 minutes, where Steph Curry took his lone Olympic games and kind of turned it into – it wasn't the Steph Curry games. It wasn't that game was Steph Curry, or even the Olympic tournament was about him. But the last 2 games, Team USA does not win without his outside shot.
It's not easy. I think even as media members and fans, we're like, oh, yeah, the USA Olympic team, they're going to win every game. And it makes it even more impressive what UConn basketball is doing, getting in the tournament and win every game by double-digit points. And I go back to the Serbia game, Phil, when they flipped the switch, started playing defense, and that shot Kevin Durant made, fully contested, but he got to his spot, did his move, and it's nothing but twine. That Serbia, it could have went the other way. I mean, they were down double digits in the fourth quarter to that Serbia team, who had won a silver medal without the Joker at the last one. So they've had some success. And then, Steph Curry, it's you start thinking about next year. I mean, in 4 years, Phil, no Steph, no Kevin Durant, and no LeBron James. Those were the 3 leaders. You just mentioned it. Those 3 guys were the leaders. And then I thought, Joel Embiid had some moments as well. He was big in that Serbia game as well. And it was weird how Coach Steve Kerr kind of mixed up his matchups. You could tell they had a game plan. Jason Tatum got to play in the gold medal game, but, didn't play in the game before that.
I thought one of the most memorable moments of all of the Olympics, and certainly of the gold medal game and the tournament, was LeBron getting dunked on, facialized, in fact, by, I don't remember the guy's name, but that made me stand up and take notice. I'm sure that he's been posterized before, but it's usually the other way around. And on that stage, I mean, you just kind of expect the way that he was trying to defend that it may happen, but that stood out. That stood out a little bit. It's not like he's, to me in this tournament, it didn't feel like LeBron was getting old. That's just, I don't remember moments where Michael was posterized. And I'm not trying to make the comparison between the two, but I guess one just always leads to the next. But he did get the ultimate revenge, which was raising that gold medal once again and taking it back to the United States. As you mentioned, the women's game, I mean, that was just, it wasn't as well played on it, obviously. Team USA was fairly sloppy at times, with 19 turnovers. It seemed that, they were unable to hit from the outside. They basically won the game of the foul line, Matt, making 27 of 34 free throws. France only took 13 attempts. So, I mean, they were bigger, they were more physical. But in the end, I mean, it really just came down to a little bit of luck. Otherwise, you were going to overtime, and who knows what happens if Gabby Williams' foot is how much farther back? An inch, maybe an inch.
A pedicure, yeah. I mean, she would have got her pedicure done that day. She would have shaved off a couple inches and would have been right there.
Thought to myself, and I saw some people posting about this, like, how does she not know where her foot is? And
it was a heck of a shot.
It was
amazing. It just, she just had a toe on the line. There's nothing there, man. There's nothing you can really do about that.
And that's you could even see on those players' faces, and they knew because they're paying attention as well. Buzzer beater that leaves them 1 point short, just a little bit. You remember I played it recently with the retirement of who was the former Butler player that got into the NBA for a long time,
Hayward.
that just retired. That's right, Gordon Hayward's half-court heave that almost banked in, which would have won Butler an unseen national championship. That felt like that last shot by Gabby Williams. But I have to also say, as entertaining as these Olympics were, and I'm also glad that it's over, because now it's more of a look back instead of what's going on today. It was just a head on a swivel kind of a thing for these last couple of weeks. And sometimes I felt bad that I missed some things just because I either wasn't recording them or didn't remember what time things got started. Like I missed most of the Leon Marchand dominance through swimming, which of course was in the first week. But I guess, like you mentioned, it the next 4 years, I'm a little bit more used to Pacific time, even though here we are Central time. 2-hour difference, a lot easier to make up than a 7-hour difference. And it's also now back to, more than anything, football for the next few weeks and really the next few months. You had your NFL preseason first week conclude yesterday. Again, 17 days until kickoff at War Memorial Stadium. And you're going to start to hear from the coordinators this week, Bobby Petrino and Travis Williams, speaking tomorrow and Wednesday, respectively. So, outside of Sam Pittman, I'd say those are the two people that you most want to hear from. And I think a lot of fans probably want to hear from Bobby Petrino above everybody else. And I know that you're going to hear from them this week and next week. So I think that's a good thing, because that's bringing in, like, if you're talking about optimism about Arkansas football moving forward for this year at least, Matt, the first thing that people mention when they call up here or when they send us texts, I think that a lot of the preseason positivity that they're feeling has a lot to do with the man that's going to be calling the plays on offense. So I wouldn't circle like every preseason press conference. There's some where you're just kind of going to hear a lot of coach speak, and maybe Petrino does some coach speak tomorrow, but I'd say tomorrow and next week when he talks again are certainly circled in pen.
Yeah, when's they scrimmage this Thursday, I believe.
They do.
That's man, when you're in camp, you're ready to scrimmage. You're ready for some game action, and I know they will be. That's fun. That's what I'm looking forward to see how that scrimmage goes.
Well, now I'm looking forward to these. So these last 2 weeks have felt like they've taken a long time, just because there's been sports to watch before you wake up, while you're waking up, and then you get a chance to do it all over again about 8 hours afterwards. But these next 17 days, like this countdown it feels like it takes a long, long time. So hopefully in 17 days, it won't feel like about a month, because that's usually the way it goes. Here's halftime for this Monday. We're going to be talking with Nate Olson, Scorebook Live, a preview of some of the stories that he's very interested in before high school football season begins. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation in about an hour, and nobody with us in hour number one. So we'll open up the hotline for the next 50 minutes or so at 877-377-6963. Stay with halftime. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is halftime.
We are here in the Bud Walton Arena, where it is about as loud as a building could get. The loudest arena to start a game I've ever been in.
This is a hard place. You don't come here expecting to win. Let me tell you that.
The name, the brand, the identity that he brings to a program that has a storied, rich tradition, an outstanding fan base in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See Agent Randy Milam in Alma or Agent Brandon Zimmerman in Barling.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at precisiondoornwa.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
It's summer clearance sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Save 25% off summer casual and fishing clothing by Ariat, Drake, Hook, Wrangler, and Under Armour. Old Town kayaks and canoes, marked to cost. Save hundreds of dollars on the Old Town while they last. Archers, get ready for early bow season. Don't miss the summer clearance sale at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
It's the Segway Full Send Summer Savings Event going on now at Adventure, Oklahoma at Auto Finders, Highway 64 in Roland. Get 0% financing for 36 months or up to $3,500 off select UTV models in stock. Fear no plates with high-tech power sports from Segway. Adventure, Oklahoma at Auto Finders. Financing available with approved credit. It's the Full Send Summer Savings Event with Segway at Adventure, Oklahoma at Auto Finders, Highway 64 Roland. See autofindersok.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
I live my life. Yes, I'm living.
West Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Heard a brand new nickname for Steph Curry I didn't see obviously I didn't see this during the gold medal game on Saturday because I was watching the American telecast with Noah Eagle and D. Wade. Big fan of those two, by the way, as a tandem. Thought they did great together. This was the French broadcast. These are the 4 3-pointers that Steph Curry hit in the final 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Did you hear what they nicknamed him, Matt? They nicknamed Steph Curry at the very end the Devil Named Curry.
Attention, attention, au tir de Steph Curry. Oh non, mais non. Levez la main, à tout moment pour déclencher. Attention, ça va déclencher Devin Booker. Steph Curry. On fait ça, mais c'est pas possible. Qui renverse pour Kevin Durant. Il a la main chaude, Steph Curry, il a la main chaude, c'est pas possible. Il a la main chaude, Steph Curry. Ils ont tout donné, les Français. Et face à Steph Curry et sa maestra. Allez, 2 secondes, 1 seconde, c'est terminé. 98.
And it's like he wasn't the MVP of the tournament. Heck, he could barely hit a shot in pool play. But these last 2 games is what everybody's going to remember. The Devil Named Curry. It's a little wordy for a nickname, but man, I wouldn't mind that nickname for myself. I bet you Steph likes it too.
Steph the chef, man, he was cooking them up. That's for sure, man. That was it's like the bigger the moment, the better Steph plays. You're right. He didn't they put up the graphic of the last 2 games to the first 4 games, and not even close. It was like the tale of 2 Currys.
It's such an interesting thing to look at, the differences between why the American men won and why the American women won. The women won going to the foul line, just being more physical in a game that was allowed to be physical too. The American men, they won because of the outside shot, something that the women could not knock down at all. I think they only 2 in the gold medal game. Meanwhile, the men only got to the foul line 8 times in game 1. So it was outside shooting for the men. And Matt, it was, I think, physical presence and ability to at least knock down the amount of shots you need to from the foul line for the American women. So a little bit different both ways.
Yeah, what were they? The women, I think it was Breanna Stewart hit that foul shot. They went up either 4 or 5, and that was big because ended up winning by 1. She misses that foul shot, and then a girl could have had her foot a little bit back. But that's, man, one of the best things you can do. When you have you're talking about field goal kickers and kicking field goals and pressure situations. But one of the best things basketball play, the end of practice when you're tired and you got to shoot free throws, and you could see that it worked out for them.
JT thinks he heard some bad French words there that they're not supposed to. I didn't hear that, actually. I didn't hear merde or any other French terms that I didn't learn when I took French for 7 years in grade school and high school. But I don't know. It's like, in England, if you say bloody, I don't know if their version of the FCC would get you in trouble for that. Their standard is a little bit different. I didn't hear anything bad there, at least. Devil Named Curry. Call him any words outside of that, but I thought it was. I always like hearing play-by-play calls in other languages. I've kind of gone back and even listened to some old Expos broadcasts just for a minute here and there. Just baseball in French sounds a lot different than baseball in American English, and basketball sounded a lot different too. Although I will say, it sounds the same. This sounds the same in French and English, which is what you heard from both Noah Eagle and from the French broadcast. No! Sounds exactly the same. That was my reaction when I see Steph knocking down those shots. And Matt, it's like I told you this last week. When I'm watching these races, I stand up and move a little bit closer to the TV as the thing is as it's coming to the finish line. You can't tell me you weren't at least standing up and shouting in those final 2.5 minutes.
Phil, there's probably only one basketball player. I don't know if there's one not named Steph. Maybe your boy from Minnesota, Ant-Man. He might be kind of on that next level. That he's not there yet. But Steph Curry was double teamed. That last 3-pointer, you had Kevin Durant and LeBron James wide open. And there's only one player on this planet that you don't care that he's double teamed, doing his crossover, doing his thing, rainbow 3. when you had two other guys that are Hall of Famers wide open, but Steph, the moment wasn't too big for him.
I don't know anybody else with the guys that were defending him at that moment, and the idea they're like, all right, heat check. This looks like the perfect sort of heat check shot. I don't know anybody else.
France was doing the right thing. I mean, they had him double teamed. They had two guys on him trying to get him to take, but Steph's just too good.
So he goes out. As far I'd be surprised if Steph comes back for Olympics. He's 36. What does he look like in 4 years? The guy that I'm not sure if I count out is LeBron. Still, at age 43. And here's the aspect too. Like if he's not playing in the NBA any longer, does that mean that he won't go and try to play for Team USA? I mean, this is something he's done 4 times. I think this is something that, with all the NBA MVPs and all of the scoring titles and the fact that he scored more points than anybody in the league's history and has had the league, kind of on his shoulders for most of his career. This is also part of his career. Like this was something brand new for Steph, but this is something that is part of LeBron's career, much in the same way that it's like Kevin Durant. They are Olympic players, and I wonder if they identify themselves through who they play for and their teammates and everything. But, I mean, LeBron's played for a bunch of teams. So has KD. You know what they've also done? They've always played for Team USA.
I wonder, you start talking about players, Phil. I could see LeBron being in a coach's role of some kind. Who's going to be the coaches in 4 years? You have Spo and Mark Few, Ty Lue, and Steve Kerr. 4 great coaches right there. Do all 4 of them come back? I want to say I saw somewhere where Steve Kerr said this was going to be his last Olympics, but you start thinking it's going to be on home soil. I think you're going to get the best of the best. I wouldn't be surprised if it's still that same group, but I wonder who because it was just 4 years ago. You had Jim Boeheim from Syracuse, who's not there anymore. You had Coach K. It's kind of a different lineup that you had.
Well, I tell you one person who was not very impressed. I don't even know if he watched very much. Shaquille O'Neal on the big. What is the name of his podcast? This is Shaq on the big podcast. Not very impressed.
Yeah, I'm not even paying attention to the Olympics.
Don't really?
Yeah.
As a former Olympian,
no, it's just
Dream Team 2 doesn't interest you.
They scare me.
What do you mean they scare you?
I have a dominant personality. I don't care who you are, whatever. Me and my cousin Kenny just had this argument upstairs. He said the world is getting closer. I don't think it is. Obviously it is. Like the fact that they win 97 and 95 and you only beat South Sudan by 1. Come on, bro. That's never supposed to happen.
You've seen, though, how the Dream Team faced like 6 NBA players.
I don't give up.
Faced 60.
I don't care. So what? I don't want to hear that. That's an excuse that you're earthing you. I don't care about none of that. No, it doesn't matter.
He's not interested in facilitating a conversation at all. You go back and look at the team that Shaq played on, and they trounced everybody. Closest game that they played was 22 points, and that was against Lithuania, the 3rd game they played. It sounds to me, Matt, like Shaq couldn't get the exhibition game out of his mind there. 1-point victory over South Sudan. That stayed with me a little bit. But I do think that the state of international basketball, I mean, we're talking 30 years since Team USA and 26 years. That to me makes me feel old. 26 years since Dream Team 2, which you could make a case potentially is the second greatest. And I was going to call it Dream Team. This is not a Dream Team, though, this year. I think we've given up on that terminology a while back. And everybody right now wants to compare 92 to 24, and I just don't know if that's something that I'm willing to get into just yet. But that always is the thing. You always got to take something that LeBron's done, and you got to compare it to something that Michael did.
Well, I know France would be better in 4 years. Wemby's going to be better. You still worry about Serbia. I do think the rest of the world is getting closer, but it's still the NBA. It's kind of like when you go watch, you watch USA play Germany in soccer. You look at the starting lineup for Germany, all 11 players play Power 5 football. They play in the top league. And then we have two. You know, we have a Timothy Way or a Christian Pulisic or a Weston McKennie that plays in the top league, but all of our players play in the minor league, so to speak. That's the same thing in basketball. You might get one or two guys that they play at the highest level, but most of their guys play in professional basketball, but they're not playing at the highest level.
877-377-6963. Anytime you want to get with us on halftime. Still a couple of open segments coming up, and reminding you about Crabtree RV Center in Alma, the dealership that serves our listening audience in the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas, going on over 7 decades now. You know where Crabtree RV is located. Right there at the junction of I-40 and I-49 beside the Cracker Barrel in Alma. They'll help you find the perfect RV for your family's adventures. They've got one on the lot that fits you right now, and the service and parts department on site. Everything you need at Crabtree RV. You can go to crabtreerv.com to get a look at the inventory. Arkansas football talk in just a moment on halftime.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
What makes Crabtree RV Center different? First, we are a 4th-generation family-owned business, taking pride in making your family's dreams come true. No corporate mentality here. Second, we've been in business for 74 years, founded in 1950 here in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas area. We are not going anywhere. What does that mean for our customers? A family feel with no corporate hidden fees. The reassurance that we will be here for generations to come, and knowledgeable salespeople who want to pick the right RV for your family to make lifetime memories in. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
You're listening to Halftime live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as, bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
We get by. So would I. Might have to move that. So we're making love. It's really nothing we can do. If we want. Stars.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Most of the public school districts beginning classes all across Arkansas today. This is kind of like the beginning of move-in week on campus at the University of Arkansas. I think over the weekend that really already began. And classes beginning in 1 week from right today. So this would be the time, Matt, it must feel familiar to you in some way, where the town begins to swell up quite a bit larger than it is even in the months of June and July. And then once you get a couple weeks into August, start to see a few more of those Texas plates around northwest Arkansas. And it's not a sleepy little town. Really isn't that much of a sleepy little town in the summer any longer, but it certainly isn't during school, and right now feels like school's already beginning.
What do you have? Wilson Sharp or Wilson Matthews? You had Walton Hall. I guess all the names have changed, but yeah, you were kind of getting into about to break camp when all that happened, and getting your dorm room right there in Walton Hall, man. That was and that meant the first game was getting closer.
Yeah. But for the players, I mean, you've already been on campus for
you see it, Phil.
It's more than a month now.
It's the same thing, Phil, as when you get to a baseball stadium 6 hours before the game. You get to see it all come together. You get there, there's nobody on campus hardly, and then by the time camp's over, it's everybody's on go.
There's a rhythm to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole rhythm to the start of, like for somebody, like you, your last year, you go over to media days. And then, you come back, you get about a week, and then camp begins. And then 2 weeks into that, all the other students start showing up. And by then you're like, you could be the person that's directing traffic, telling everybody which way to go. But I guess it's not like you're, going all over campus when you're in football camp. You're just kind of getting your own routine set, which for me was the most difficult thing as a student, moving away from home and going to a Big Ten school. When I went to Indiana a couple of years, it was figuring out how to get those routines going that just basically felt built into life as a kid or as a high school student. And I never really got those routines going until I left that school in a couple of years. But by now your routine is set as a football player. So morning practice, and that's basically what you got going on for the week.
We had to you had to have all your classes done by noon. During the season, you had to get 2 in-season lifts in. So, if you had an 8 o'clock class, you had to come in, at 6:30 to get your lift in. So it was, they keep you. I don't know how it goes anymore, but they keep you pretty busy.
Well, I did get the photo of my 2 kids before they headed out to school for the first day today. We don't put them on social media, but if I were to take that photo and look at what it looked like 3 years earlier from today, it would look like 2 completely different kids. Completely different kids. And my son's starting 6th grade, new school. You know, it's the first time that he walks to the other classrooms instead of the same teacher teaching you the same, you know, all of your subjects. So it's my daughter's 2nd year at high school. So it was really last year was the year to be nervous about that. That is the biggest jump before you go to university or a college or a community college or whatever it is. But for my son, yeah, I drove over to the house today. How you feeling? You could see it in his eyes. Nervous. You know what, bud? I'm nervous for you too. Don't screw this up. Nah, I didn't tell him that. He knows that anyway. Over the weekend, Eric Mateos, Arkansas's new offensive line coach, got up and spoke, and so did some of the offensive linemen. Here is Josh Braun on an assignment that Coach Mateos gave to him and the rest of the offensive line.
Mateos got here. He did a great job of instilling into us the Arkansas offensive line standard. We had a homework where we researched different offensive linemen that wore the same number as us, and that just showed us that in the past, the offensive line at Arkansas have been some of the best in the country, and that is the standard. And every day we go into practice trying to uphold that standard. And it's a show me, don't tell me world. So we got to perform on Saturdays, and we got to show the fans, we got to show y'all what we're made of. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And so whether or not whatever happened last year, we didn't live up to the Arkansas standard, and that's the goal this year.
I've heard the word standard used a lot over these last couple of weeks. I heard it coming from Travis Williams, the Arkansas defensive coordinator, quite a bit, talking about standards are the first thing they worry about. Standards, not starters, I think is a terminology he's thrown around. You know, if you're talking about what the standard is for an Arkansas offensive line, now, you know, Coach Pittman had, I thought, a pretty good line the second year in 2021. And outside of that, you've had a lot of pressure and a little trouble opening holes here and there. But you'd have to go back a while, you know, maybe to, you know, even when Sam Pittman was the offensive line coach at Arkansas, to really when that, since maybe the last time that standard was truly met in the way that I think Coach Mateos means it. So, but also, Matt, you played with some really great offensive linemen and guys that were able to work together and turn it into, you know, NFL careers in a lot of cases. So, you know, I hope if we're talking about the standard, I'm hoping that the standard is set quite a bit higher than really what we've seen for these most of these last 12, 13 years.
Yeah, you know, it's I liked what he said. He said it's a show me world, not a talk about it world. So nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Can't make excuses. Got to get back to running the ball, Phil. It seems like I'm beating a dead horse, but when's the last time we've had a 1,000-yard rusher? You know, when's the last time we've had an SEC running back go back-to-back 100-yard games in SEC play? You know, you can't win a lot of games if you can't run the ball. I mean, it's just where it starts. You got to be physical up front, and you got to be able to run the ball.
877-377-6963. Anything you want to hit on about that? Speaking of the running backs, new running back Rodney Hill provided a bit of a cautionary tale when it comes to hiring an agent. This is somebody that had transferred from Florida State to Florida A&M to Arkansas over the springtime, and he gave a window of information into why it was that he left Florida State to begin with.
That situation, not many people know, but my parents was running my money and stuff like that, and my parents got a bad agent, and he was texting other schools like he was me. So when they got back to the head coach, I had to leave Florida State. And during that time when I had to leave, I wasn't trying to leave. I didn't want to leave, so I just had to, and the portal was closing up, so Florida A&M was next door. So I just had to go there for a month to find a new place.
You hear that? You hear what he is talking about here? He is talking about agents. I don't know if it would be a matter of going rogue or if, because that's what it sounds like he's saying, that the agent went rogue and was contacting universities and schools while he was still on the Florida State roster, which, you know, I mean, that would probably get you moved off any roster no matter what. But if that's something that the agent is doing on his own, you realize this was just a matter of him getting caught. This is happening on a routine basis, probably amongst every college football team in the country. This is just a matter of they found out about it. Not every coaching staff finds out about these agents and what they're doing.
What's the rule, Phil? You don't break up with your current girlfriend until you have another one lined up. That's exactly what it is. These guys aren't just saying I'm not going to go to this school and I'm going to enter the transfer portal unless they have something lined up. I think they have a pretty good idea. Most of the time, they got a pretty good idea because why would you do it if you're on scholarship making money? If you're not playing as much as you want to play, but I think it's rampant. Yes, Phil, I think you're right on. I think it goes on a lot more than we think.
And just really, in my perspective, like, I know it's your parents and stuff like that, but sometimes you got to handle it on your own. Sometimes, like, with my parents, I know they was trying to do the best thing for me, but, sometimes you got to take that with your own, like, you got to do it yourself. But to other kids, I just say, you don't got to get an agent right now. Just wait.
Just do it on your own. And really, he's also saying, I don't know if he's like pointing the finger at his parents. He does say that they're just trying to do what they thought was best for him, which was to bring in an agent. And therefore, it would mean, maybe the buffer is the parents between the agent and Hill in this case. So the parents might have known that he was looking for another place to play. That's quite a bit different than like a Lamar Jackson negotiating his own deal. That's a different thing, but that also could lead to a situation like, and I'm not saying Rodney Hill is going to end up, worrying about a second contract in the NBA or the NFL. Maybe he will, but this is kind of the experience for somebody that will, I think, color his opinion about whether or not he wants to have an agent moving forward. Like, I'm still even floored of the idea of Lamar Jackson negotiating his own deal, something that big. And it's not like I'm saying that he's not smart enough to handle something like this. It's just there are professionals who routinely negotiate these deals and know how to use leverage and speak to people in a certain way. But Lamar's getting what he wants, so it all worked for him. I just wonder if there was an example of something that happened previously in Jackson's career that made him wary of hiring an agent to begin with, or if it's just a matter that, whatever the percentage is that this guy gets, I'd like to keep it for myself, and I trust my own ability to negotiate.
Well, a lot of these guys are slotted. You kind of know what you're going to get paid, and yeah, if you're giving an agent 3%, that's and you already kind of have an idea what you're going to get. And I kind of go back to the Tony Gwynn thing, Phil. If you remember, Tony Gwynn was going to take a deal on the cheap, and they made him take more money. I don't think the NFL Players Union, they would let Lamar Jackson. If you're the top 1%, they're not going to let somebody take advantage of you with a bad contract. So there are people in the Players Union, that's why you have a union, that will be helping him along the way. It would look bad if they were taking advantage of him in some way. So I think they kind of got to make him take a certain amount.
I wonder about how, where Hill fits into the Arkansas offense at a position group that does feel like there's some depth there. And it might be being tested a little bit right now because Rashad Dubinion missed the scrimmage last week. They say he should be okay to be able to get back on the field and practice and get back out and scrimmage this week. But, the running back, I think, is a fairly deep position. Jaquindon Jackson's the guy that will end up leading this team in rushing, or at least that's my guess. But whether or not he gets to 1,000 yards, Matt, I don't know. That's the thing that you had asked about, or even back-to-back games with somebody rushing for 100 yards against an SEC team. I don't necessarily think that this will be an offense that splits the carries in an even way. I think they bring Jaquindon Jackson in to be the featured-ish back to a point. But I think you want Rashad Dubinion to get the ball in open space. I think you want Braylon Russell in some short yardage situations, and that's the guy that could end up being the featured back in a year or so. So I think they want him to get some carries. Where Rodney Hill fits in, I'm not exactly too sure. He hasn't been the most experienced player. He's only carried the ball 77 times over a career that's gone through 2 years. But it also sounds like there's something there because it's the kind of athlete that is recruited and signed by Florida State. So it means there must be something special about him.
We were 1-7 in conference play. We had one game where we had a 100-yard rusher last year. I think it correlates pretty well. I mean, if you're going to win in the SEC, you got to be able to run the ball, and I do think we're deep at running back. But you're going to, at least half the game, if you got 8 SEC games, at least 4 of those games, you got to have a 100-yard rusher.
It is a number you pay attention to quite a bit. 100-yard
It keeps you.
games.
It keeps you the sticks moving. It keeps you confident. They wear you down. You're being aggressive. You're being physical. You're setting a tone. There's just so many good things the positive things that go with having a running game.
877-377-6963. If you want to hit on that with us, we'll get into more about the running game as we go throughout halftime up until 2 o'clock today. And, hey, the students are reporting to campus. That means they're probably over at the stadium shop on Razorback next to Baum getting everything they need for their dorm room right now. Well, don't worry just about the dorm room, parents. You got your man cave, you got game day, you got tailgating, and everything you need on Razorbacks for Razorback stuff is at the stadium shop on Razorback right now. Doesn't get more Razorback than the stadium shop. That's Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt. They're local, family, alumni-owned, and operated. Call them at 479-STADIUM or go online to shoponrazorback.com. Make sure to tell them ESPN Arkansas sent you. We'll be back to wrap up our first hour of halftime in just a moment.
This is halftime.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
It's kickoff in Arkansas and the 76th anniversary of Razorback football inside historic War Memorial Stadium. Begin the holiday weekend right with tailgating, the Hog Walk, the UA and UAPB marching bands, and Razorback football's 2024 opener. Call the Hogs on Thursday night, August the 29th, at a historic in-state matchup with the UAPB Golden Lions. Kickoff set for 6:30. Get your tickets at ArkansasRazorbacks.com, and we'll see you on Thursday, August 29th, 6:30 in Little Rock.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. West Arc Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact West Arc Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. West Arc Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call West Arc Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
I was looking through it the last couple of years, Matt, just on these 100-yard games. Arkansas running backs had 9 100-yard games in the 2022 season. It was Rocket for 8 of them. Dubinion had 1. And KJ had, I think, 3 100-yard games that year, but I was only looking at running backs. And then last year, and this is against SEC, only 1 100-yard game, and that was against Florida, and it was Rocket, who ran for, let's see, I think it was 103 yards. Augusta had over 100 against Florida International, but I was just looking at SEC teams. Man, if there's only 1 100-yard game for a running back against an SEC team this next year, yeah, 1-7 is not is not out of the realm of possibility. But I'd just be surprised if they're going to commit to it. And with Petrino calling plays, and I think a deeper group and a better offensive line, there'll be a few more 100-yard games. At least I'm hoping.
Me too. We get UAPB the August 29th, I believe. I think that's a Thursday, but then that September 7th game. And then I hear a lot of people, Phil, talking about how UAB is not supposed to just be some one-star type of team. Trent Dilfer's their coach. Apparently they got a little bit of talent. So yeah, there's really, you get one preseason game, so to speak, one game to go knock off the rust and get ready. And then September 7th, it's going to be full steam ahead. You better be ready to go.
3.5 yards per carry last year. And I know that's also counting sacks, but still, I guess I'd need to go back and look a little bit to see the last time that you had that few yards.
It was the
carry.
Worst offense I've seen with my eyes. Worst Arkansas offense I've seen in over a decade, at least. Probably 20 years, but just watching Arkansas football, watching the offense. We're running quarterback sweep and quarterback power with a quarterback that runs a 4.78. Like what in the SEC? Like what are you doing?
And judging from what you're saying, that seems like that would just be the nadir of Arkansas offense. It can't get worse, right? It can only get better from there. Judging from what they've brought in from the portal, if guys are healthy at the positions that they want them at, and I'm looking at you, tackles specifically, this is going to be a team that should be able to run the ball. I'm not saying at will. There's some really tough defenses out there and guys on the line of scrimmage defensively across this league, but it's going to be better than 3.5 yards per carry. There won't be as many sacks either on KJ. So, again, maybe this is just more hope than anything else, but I also think we'll find out if it's reality. I wouldn't say in 17 days, more like in 24 days. Hey, coming up tomorrow, another preliminary round for the football trip of a lifetime. This is when you get a chance to win tickets to see the Cowboys and the Eagles in Arlington, November the 10th. Our next qualifying round is at Hardee's Rogers Avenue location in Fort Smith. Finish the Monster Burger in 2.5 minutes, and your seat is reserved in the finals. August 24th, just a dozen days from today, August 24th is when we have our finals. One winner gets tickets and the accommodations to see the Cowboys and the Eagles in Arlington, November the 10th. It's brought to you by Hardee's ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Second hour of halftime in just a moment. Going to be talking with Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation at a quarter after. So our hotline's open for you as we cross over the top of the hour, 877-377-6963. And stay with halftime. We'll be right back.
Summer is here and adventure is calling. Visit Southern Tire Mart for a new set of Yokohama tires to get your vehicle ready for summer travels. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let Southern Tire Mart ensure your vehicle is ready for the open road. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
The best things in life never change. They just get better, like Hardee's Original Bag, just $6.99. Loaded with fries, a drink, and 2 full-size favorites. A juicy charbroiled double cheeseburger, melty hot ham and cheese sandwich, or crispy hand-breaded chicken tender wrap. Choose any 2 plus fries and a drink, all only $6.99. Hardee's Original Bag, loaded with handcrafted goodness. It's the greatest meal deal for your buck. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, occasional showers, a few thunderstorms, especially across the north, and we could see some heavier rain, especially early today. Otherwise, partly to mostly sunny sky, a high mid-80s north, low 90s south. Clearing out the sky tonight, an overnight low near 70, and then a chance of isolated showers and storms Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. KERX Paris Fort Smith.
The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 17 days.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com. We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that's the perspective. If I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Name of one Razorback. And vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's go to the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Hour number 2 of halftime underway here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Now's the time to get in with Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation, about 15 minutes. 877-377-6963. We were all together for an entire week. Me, Matt Jones, Christian Johnston in the studios. Seaburger's got to go to Hardee's on Tuesday and Thursday, so we are not all together this week, though me and Matt will be here with you too. The preseason AP poll came out an hour ago. I think it was a week ago that the coaches poll came out first. And I wonder how many media members, remember the AP is the media poll, how many media members went by the coaches poll and just flipped a couple of things here and there. Out of the top 25 for the AP, 17 of those 25 teams are in the exact same place that they were in the coaches poll, including 1 through 7, exactly the same. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Notre Dame. Penn State and Michigan are basically just flip-flopped from 8th to 9th. Utah and LSU switch spots from 12 to 13. Oklahoma State and Kansas State switch spots from 17 and 18. And North Carolina State and Kansas switch between 22nd and 24th. But the other 17 teams in the exact same spot. And, you know, I would imagine, because if I had a vote, if I was voting, I might go a little bit by what the coaches are going by too. Now, I'm sure they don't confer. But then again, hey, how many of you really think that the coaches are actually doing the voting? It's the SIDs. And, I mean, truthfully, although sports information directors and journalists or writers or broadcasters are on opposite sides of whatever the media line of scrimmage is, I think they do have a little bit of the same thought process. So I could see where these could be. I could see where these could be somewhat identical.
Is it still going to be week 6, Phil, that the selection committee comes out? Because I think me and you both kind of agree that they don't really know. I mean, you kind of just go based on like coaches, or you based on reputation, but you don't really know. There'll be a couple sleepers, but you don't really know who are going to be your top 25.
Yeah, you're right. That's the thing. It's like you take a look at what the top 25 looks like before a single game is played and what it looks like when the season is
like
over.
Week 4 maybe is when you should have the first, but I guess you got to sell publications, you got to sell things, but don't you think like week 4 would be like, okay, now you kind of can start getting a feel for who is in the top 25?
Yeah, and I know that, I mean, the even the committee poll is also for conversation and for, you know, marketing purposes for the sport, but that also means something. Now these teams know what the pecking order is and maybe how they have to look in a certain game and a victory over whatever team compared to what if they're looking at these polls. I mean, these are just opinions that really don't matter very much. Last year, Matt, and I don't know what the date is this year for the first college football playoff committee poll, but last year it came out October 31st. That was the first ranking. So it's always around. This year it might be a little different because we have an extra, they call it bye week, but you have 2 weeks during the season that you're not playing. So the timing may be thrown off just a little bit, but it'll be near the end of October, early November. But yet still, I mean, when these polls come out, coaches polls, AP polls, I'm sure we'll mention them on a Monday because that's what they're designed to do. And, all right, who's in I guess we did this last week. Might as well do the same thing. Georgia is not on the Arkansas schedule. Of course, you got Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma State, A&M. That's 7 out of the top 25 in both polls that Arkansas plays against. And look, I mean, by the time Oklahoma State week 2 comes around, they'll have just played one game. They'll be ranked. You know, one thing you wonder is, you know, does Auburn find a way to get into the top 25 by the 4th week of the season? Does A&M stick in the poll by the time Arkansas plays them in week 5? And that's when, you know, you start to get a sense of what the college football season begins to look like.
And one of these teams is not as good as what we think they are. That's the truth, Phil. I wonder if it's Missouri. If I gave you Missouri or Ole Miss, who is least likely to get to 10 wins this year? You know, both of them had the 10 wins. This is Ole Miss, some say the most talented team, highest rank they've ever had since like the 60s. Missouri lost their running back, but they got their quarterback, and they kind of got a movement going as well. Ole Miss, Missouri, both of them make the playoff 12, or 0 of them make the playoff 12?
I'd go if I'm going to pick one of those teams that would make it there. Now, instinctively, I think Ole Miss, but then we've looked through the Missouri schedule and thought this is a little bit of a cupcake. But have you looked at the Ole Miss schedule too? Like I don't think Ole Miss's schedule is really the most difficult thing in the world. Best teams on the schedule they get: Kentucky at home, LSU
and that's
on the road,
and that's week 5 before they play their first game. So essentially, Phil, there's no way they're not 4-0 but when they go into that Kentucky game.
Ole Miss hosts Oklahoma. They go to Fayetteville. Toughest game of the year is Georgia, and that's in Oxford. And then they finish the season with Florida and Mississippi State. I don't really think those two teams are going to be playing very good football by the last 2 weeks of November. I think Ole Miss's schedule isn't as difficult as we might have initially thought. I think Kentucky could be a tough game. I see them winning that at home. I think LSU on the road could be a really tough game. I think LSU wins that game. Oklahoma in Oxford, that's an Ole Miss win. Georgia in Oxford, I'm not about to flip a coin. That's their second loss. And then they'll win the final 2 games at Florida and at home in the Egg Bowl, though I guess you never really know with the Egg Bowl. So I might look at Ole Miss in that case.
That's a good point. You look at Missouri's schedule as well. They don't play anybody, and they get a bye week before their biggest game at A&M October 5th. Then they got to play Alabama. That'd be tough. Auburn, Alabama, back-to-back. So they go Auburn, Alabama, bye, Oklahoma. So they're going to they're going to earn it. I'd say Missouri's schedule is probably a little tougher than Ole Miss's.
And it's just a little jarring. And I think they belong where they are in these rankings. But isn't it a little bit jarring to see both Ole Miss and Missouri preseason top 11?
Both ranked ahead of Tennessee. You would just think, yeah, Tennessee probably better.
Both ahead of Oklahoma?
What about are they ahead of LSU as well? It's
They are. Missouri is 1 spot ahead of LSU. Like you'd expect. All right, LSU is maybe where they should be, 12th. Although remember, their national titles under Les Miles and Ed Ogeron, 3rd year of those guys coaching tenure. This is year 3 under Brian Kelly. I don't think Garrett Nussmeier is a championship quarterback. I think if there was going to be a championship for them, it would have been with Jaden Daniels. But then again, it's like, I don't know how many people saw Joe Burrow's season coming. So he was good as a junior. He was incredible. One of the greatest seasons of all time as a senior. I don't see that with Garrett Nussmeier. But then again, what do I know?
The thing with LSU, and this holds true from 20 years ago, Phil, that they're going to be one of the most talented teams. They always have talent on that roster. It's just, can they buy in? But talent-wise, they're going to be talented. And I'm a Brian Kelly fan. Do you kind of think is LSU's kind of under the radar this year? Like, you don't really hear a lot of national media or local media saying, you know what, watch out for LSU. Not one.
Well, it's because they're picked 6th in the SEC,
wow,
just based on being 12th in the preseason polls. Yeah, and I think part of it is the entrance of Oklahoma and LSU, and Carson Beck maybe being a top overall pick or a front runner for the Heisman, and a new coach at Alabama. But you're right, it is feeling like we're a little bit asleep on LSU. I think they're going to be really good this year. Take a couple of phone calls before the break. Mike Irwin coming up shortly. Charlie, good afternoon, Charlie. Hope you're having a great Monday. What's up?
I am having a great Monday.
Hold on a moment. Based on the tone of your voice, I think you're lying.
Uh-oh. You know what? You know what, Phil? You caught me. But I was going to try to play it off. You didn't let me do it. You didn't let me finish. I've had a few things happen at work this morning, but I'm not going to go there. What I am going to say is, when Mike gets on here, Phil, I think you should really just ask him about Jerry Jones. I'm not obsessed with him. I know he's not, but I know what he's going to say and all this hoopla with that. I think that would be a really good question to ask him just about his Cowboys. I know you got to touch Razorback stuff, but maybe just say the tuna wants to know or something like that. But I wanted to ask you, Matt, real quick before I say something else here. The 3 old guys in the Olympics, you talk about Steph, LeBron, KD, to me, wound up all being kind of, your most important guys on the team. And I got into an argument with a guy the other day who was telling me that LeBron was still in Jason Tatum's minutes. I think this is, I was arguing with him like, are you watching the game or are you just commenting your ignorance? I mean, what are you doing? Like, and I think this guy just was a hater, but I was like, bro, these three guys, all three of these guys, some of the oldest guys on the team, the fact that they're taking it this seriously and they want it this bad. And to me, like, sometimes the Olympics, I think, gets overlooked, right, Phil? I think for some sports. And I thought all three of those guys, I commend all three. I thought they all three took it extremely seriously, and it mattered to them, and they deserve credit for that. And that's just my opinion on that. And one more thing here. Does it come down to flipping a coin too, Phil? You said something about flipping a coin. Which teams hit better on their needs in the portal? Is that kind of what it comes down to on these teams? Because I think that makes a big difference. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
All right, Charlie. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just going to say about the Tatum thing. I think the fact that Devin Booker and Kevin Durant played on this, that's who was taking his minutes is Booker. It wasn't LeBron. But the fact that they have that relationship, I think it kind of gives them the edge to play Booker more than you did Tatum, which I like both those players. They're both a little bit, they kind of do the same thing, but the fact that you play your club ball, they play for the Suns together, I think the familiarity helped. But those guys are so talented. You could have played Tatum and Booker's minutes, and I think they still would have won it.
Yeah, there's also a standard that Team USA is held to in basketball that nobody else is held to. The women's team, I think, is also held to the same standard. You're not expected to just win every game you play. You're expected to beat the living crap out of whomever it is that you play. That's why a 1-point victory over South Sudan feels unfulfilling. That's why I think to some people, the last couple of games where USA was not dominant, but won, feels not empty, but just different than the dream team. I think it's difficult to put these two teams up against each other, 92 and 96 and this last year, because those teams were never challenged to a point where we knew what they would be like when crunch time came. We'd like to believe that they'd hit all the big shots because that's what most of these guys did in their career. I do think that some of it has to do with the international game being elevated to where it's not the same game that the dream teams in the 90s were playing. It's a different thing. The world has gotten a heck of a lot better. And it's not that USA's gotten worse. It's a good thing for basketball. It's just I think it's unfortunate that Steve Kerr said it, and he's right about this too. Like it would have, if Team USA would have won silver, it would have been viewed as a failure on both sides, men and women, and that's a difficult place to live. Like Katie Ledecky, you might have felt that same way about Ledecky just based on the dominance she had shown in the previous 4 Olympics. Same with Michael Phelps. Maybe that's a little bit the same. And this last year, the fact that Leon Marchand was the most dominant swimmer, that feels a little bit different for us, doesn't it? Take a phone call from Ryan in Hot Springs, then we'll break. Hey, Ryan, thanks for calling. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, guys. I hope y'all having a good day. Yeah, you was talking about some of Ole Miss's toughest games. Did you mention Fayetteville or not?
Which games again? Sorry?
Ole Miss?
For Ole Miss, did you mention the Fayetteville game or not?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely did.
Okay. I hope you did, because like I said, I missed it.
That's their 3-game stretch that before they go Florida, Mississippi State, where they got Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia. That's going to be their biggest stretch, I think, of the year for them right there.
Well, and the crazy part is, if you go look at since 2008, for whatever reason, Ole Miss has struggled in Fayetteville. You could almost say to a certain degree that we've kind of been like to them what Missouri's been to us. There's been a few years there where
didn't Arkansas run for like over 300 yards against the Rebels 2 years ago.
It was
in
so
Fayetteville?
cold, yeah. They were done by half.
In fact, that was also the same year that kid stole the Ole Miss helmet during the game.
That's right.
They shared that the other day, and I just I haven't stopped thinking about it. I just think that's a funny thing. They got run out of the building and someone stole their helmet.
That's funny.
But I'm kind of feeling like the Hogs are going to get them this year. I feel like the defensive line is going to keep us in a lot of games, and I like where our secondary is at. As much as they improved last year, and I look forward to be even better this year. And by that point, there's no telling how good this offense could be under Petrino. Like they could be. They could really be on fire by then at that point.
You're absolutely right. We don't know what this is going to look like right now. By the time Arkansas has played Auburn. By the time you're getting into that fourth game, you should have a sense of strengths and weaknesses of this football team. That's why I don't think you can look at week 2 Oklahoma State and say this is what the season swings upon. That's just part of almost like preseason, giving you an idea of a snapshot of what the team is good at, what they can improve upon. By the time you're into the 5th week of the season, I think your strengths and your weaknesses are kind of set. Quick break on halftime. We're going to the phones talking with Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation right after this.
This is halftime. This is the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast presented by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company.
Don't expect this to be overnight. Don't expect that this thing's going to be solidified. But I guarantee you don't do what these guys have done over the years without having plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and all 4 of them are going to be really good plans.
Subscribe to the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
Valley Family Dental, formerly known as Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to...
pause for me while slow down. Had my picture taken at the New Year.
And so when the scrimmage took place last Thursday, they withheld 15 players and 5 starters. But afterwards, Sam said, don't panic. He said most of these guys could have played if we had to, if it was a game. But we're using this as a precaution. But we're also developing depth, and that's something a theme that I've been telling you guys, where I felt like this team could be good, but I didn't know about the depth. And in the last week or two, all of these coaches are talking about the depth that they've had, the depth that they're developing. Eric Mateos, in his press conference, talked about the fact that he thinks he's going to have 9 guys and will play 9 guys, not 5, not 6. So they're doing the cross-training thing. And, for instance, a guy like Marion Harris, it's his 3rd year, heard his name all the way back to when he was a freshman. But he hadn't played a lot. Now he's going to play because they've got that kind of depth. And he said, I don't want to be standing on the sidelines and my center gets hurt, and then I'm in a panic about, I got my backup center over there with the quarterback trying to do center snap exchanges, so they won't have an issue. So all of that, looks pretty good. I mean, 2 of the 3 starting wide receivers were out of that scrimmage. Satania was the only starter that participated, and he had a good scrimmage. But you also had this Monte Harrison, who's the 28-year-old wide receiver, and when I first heard his name last summer, I thought, this guy's not going to play. It might be a year or 2 before they get him in. He's going to play. Pittman said he can help us. Said he's especially good at catching yards after catch. So, C.J. Brown, a freshman, looked good in the scrimmage. So all this stuff looks good. But the other thing I've noticed, and this has been going on all along about this idea, they're stressing this idea of players being together, none of the divides, the splits on the team that occurred last year for various issues. But Mateos talked about, guys, do you know what DAPs are? I didn't know what a DAP was. You know what a DAP is?
Yeah, it's a handshake that you design with your friends.
Okay, I never heard that before. I'm a goober, I guess. They started talking about these DAPs, and he said, we're starting to count them on the video after practice, and we want 100 a day. And because it helps with this whole unity, togetherness thing, and it just got me thinking all the way back to in 71 when I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, in the Army. This was back during the Vietnam era, and they had this in Martin Army Hospital. They had this cafeteria that could serve 1,000, 1,500 soldiers for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I remember being in there, and there'd be these tables with 40 guys sitting around a table, and they'd all be from a unit. And somebody would come in late from that unit, and they would do that all the way around the table, these DAPs all the way around. It would sometimes take 3-4 minutes for each guy the guy that walked up would do these daps with this guy all around, right way around the table. And I asked about it, and they said, because those guys were in Vietnam, and you can't go into combat without this band of brothers attitude. We're all in this together. And that's what they're stressing with this football team. Not this guy's a team leader or that guy's a team leader. It's like everybody's in this together.
Well, it also feels, from what you're talking about, from what you've seen at practice, from what some of our other guests have seen at the media viewing portion of practice, and also based upon what Sam Pittman has talked about and some of the other coaches, there was no identity to last year's team. You didn't know what it was that you did well offensively, and the identity defensively was to make a big play every once in a while and see how that could help you out. Do you think that they're trying to install a mental idea that we are a tough team through and through, and we're starting this once practice begins, and we're taking this all throughout the season? And the other aspect to that is, so it might be a deeper team. Are they deep enough to be able to withstand? Now, I'm not going to expect that they'll miss the same 15 players around the Oklahoma State game, but let's say that, Armstrong can't play, that Blackstock isn't out there, that Kudus isn't playing either. Are they deep enough to be able to withstand, 4 or 5 2s or 3s that have to get out there and start and play appreciable minutes against an Oklahoma State?
I would have said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I didn't think so, but maybe these coaches are starting to convince me a little bit that they will be. It's just, I think this unity thing is all about avoiding divisions on the team. Yeah, there were guys, there were problems, obviously, but the team split into groups, factions. Defensive line got mad at the O-line because how bad the O-line was, because they were having to come back on the field so much because they weren't getting their job done. O-line is mad at KJ, KJ's mad at them. This sort of stuff. And that I think what they've emphasized starting last winter was we can't have any of that. Again, some of those defensive guys have talked about how that Taylon Green reached out to them on the defensive, hey, let's go to the movies tonight. Let's go do this. Let's be friends, reaching out and trying to join everybody together with this idea that we're all in this together and we cannot split into groups. If we do, we're doomed.
Marcus Woodson got out and spoke today to the media. I know he's co-defensive coordinator with Travis Williams, coaches the safeties. This feels like it's a position of strength for Arkansas. Really like Jaden Johnson. This is, I thought safety were pretty good last year, and it seems this year, should be maybe even a little bit better at that position.
Yeah, he said Johnson was like a coach on the field. He was in tune with the coaching staff. Anytime you got a player like that, you've got something, because you don't have to sit there. He can pass that on. He becomes like your extension out there on the field. And then T.J. Metcalf talked about how if there's such a thing as a most improved player, he's it. But again, you got the impression from talking to him, there's depth back there now. They don't have to just rely on, okay, we've got some starters, we think we're good, we get injuries, we're in trouble. And honestly, that's what we didn't see this scrimmage, but the athletic department always releases these little clips, and I watch them, and you just, when I'm watching these clips, and it's not a whole group of them, you just watch one, and then 20 minutes later I see another one pop up, and then another one. But you get the impression, okay, here's a good offensive play. Here's a guy wide open. Wait, now here's a pick. And Pittman talked about the offense started off strong, but then the defense came on later, and he was saying coaches always do this. If one looks good, then the other looks bad. So, and that's a good way to coach. But the fact of the matter is, I like that back and forth. If you don't have it, you got a problem. So I continue. One of the questions I got on to ask Mike this week is, how do you know when you're watching August camp? How do you get a feeling that a team's going to have problems or it's not going to have problems. And it's these type things, because there's a lot you don't see. But last year, I think a lot of us felt like there were some issues because we didn't see these scrimmages, but Pittman would come in there and talk about certain things, and you just got the impression there were blocking problems on the team. And when the season started, boom, there it was. So, you know, this could be a mirage, I guess. I'm not going to know till I see it. But it just looks like they've got depth, they've got unity, they know what the problems were. The coaches are addressing these problems. And, you know, they're on top of this stuff.
Going to get to talk with Bobby Petrino tomorrow, and then you get him again next week. So they've made the coordinators a little bit more available than they were the last few years. I think it's been a long time since you've spoken to a coordinator twice before the first kickoff of the season. A lot of fans are putting their faith in a better year than last year in the offensive coordinator's hands, even though he's got nothing to do with the defense. But you also know that, like last year, the defense's performance, that had a little bit to do with the offense being so poor. That's what we saw the last month of the season.
Exactly. I think they got frustrated. I also think in a lot of those games that Arkansas almost won but didn't win, if the defense hadn't been on the field quite so much during that game, they would have won the game. Those guys ran out of gas in the fourth quarter a lot. So, yeah, there's no question that what one does helps the other. And I'm really anxious for this Petrino press conference. He's going to get it. I think this thing's going to last a while. He may have to just get up and walk out because there's going to be a million questions that they ask. You know, one of them is Jaquindon Jackson going to throw the football from the backfield? You know, he's a running back that had been a quarterback in high school, and I get that question all the time. And I've not seen a play where they do that. But you know it's got to be there, right? It just has to at some point.
I guess so. I guess it probably does. You now that the Olympics are over, you were going to practice and focusing more on the football team and everything. But was your head on a swivel the last couple of weeks? It's tough to keep up with everything that was going on in France.
Well, you know, I didn't watch a lot of it, but I was aware of it afterward, just reading on the internet. There's no question. This was the best Olympics for Razorbacks and ex-Razorbacks ever. For a long time, Clyde Scott was the only Razorback with a medal at the Olympics. And the year I was born, 48, he won a silver medal in the 110 high hurdles. And then Connolly won a gold, Mike Connolly, in the L.A. Games. And for a long time, he was the only one to win a gold medal. You had, I think there were seven Razorbacks or ex-Razorbacks in this Olympics had gold medals. That's amazing. 14 total medals. So somebody wanted to know if they're going to take all those medals and put them in a display case at the U of A. I said, well, that would be up to the guys that won, the athletes, the men and women that won those medals. I don't know if they would, you know, give them up. I wouldn't. If I want a gold medal, I'd keep it in my possession. I wouldn't trust anybody with it. But that's a lot of gold medals for one Olympics from one school, 7.
Yeah, that's more gold medals than most countries won at this year's Olympics.
Yeah.
Mike, appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. We always appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
It's Mike Irwin, Pig Trail Nation, joining us each Monday on Halftime. Hotline's open for you now, 877-377-6963. Halftime is back right after this.
You see a possum, try to kill it. It's not a pet.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
What makes Crabtree RV Center different? First, we are a 4th-generation family-owned business taking pride in making your family's dreams come true. No corporate mentality here. Second, we've been in business for 74 years, founded in 1950 here in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas area. We are not going anywhere. What does that mean for our customers? A family feel with no corporate hidden fees. The reassurance that we will be here for generations to come, and knowledgeable salespeople who want to pick the right RV for your family to make lifetime memories in. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
This is halftime.
Come on along, head for the mountain.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Colin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Don't think, don't be, don't walk, carry, don't fall from grace, reading, don't trip, sachet. Okay, sachet. Don't kid, don't play, don't snap, insane, don't rap, don't act your age, don't change your name. It's all the rage. Do less, don't tell, don't laugh at, do smile, don't have a glass, don't stay a while, don't take a pic. Don't feel so sick.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Well, I read where earlier today there will not be breaking at the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. What's going on here, man? I mean, this is an art form that began in the United States. It started in New York City. I was reading up a little bit on the history of breakdancing, Matt, because, of course, it was an Olympic sport, although called something else. And, brought up the movies from the 80s last week, Breakin' and then Electric Boogaloo. Electric Boogaloo was the West Coast addition to breakdancing, but they're not going to have either the first version or any kind of Electric Boogaloo in Los Angeles in 2028. Probably be a lot fewer memes as far as that's concerned in terms of dancing at the Olympics, because I don't know what other kind of dancing there will be outside of synchronized swimming now.
I did like those bucket hats they wore. They reminded me of that movie that you watched, Phil, the Gentleman, the toddlers. You know, they were all dressed like they were a group of the toddlers. It was, man. So I did watch that gold medal match, you know, because it was on, and you're watching it, and you're just like, really, but you know, maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I just don't understand it. But it. That girl from Australia that had
Raygun.
Cultural movement was her.
She's a professor of cultural movement.
She danced like a professor. That's right. She looked at it. It's like, which one of these doesn't really belong here? Or it's like the person that lies on their resume. You know, it's like, yeah, I can. And then you see, you're like, oh, no.
That goes on the blooper reels. Goes
Absolutely.
Immediately on the Olympic blooper reels, along with is it a Filipino diver who
he tried to do a backflip and
he flipped. He flipped, but I don't think he landed where he was supposed to land. You know, that to me would be like the most embarrassing thing. And then you see the reaction from your family. That was the thing that really hurt for me. And I'm just watching, you know, as a detached observer and seeing this guy go head over heels twice, but still land on his back. And he just went too far out, and it looked incredibly painful. But then you see his family's faces, and you know it. It's like, ooh. Just like that, just cringing, just almost like you ate a lemon with some mold on it. It's like you'll never get over that face, never.
And what's funny is he had some other dives that got scored a lot better than that one, but nobody cares to show any of his other dives. That's the only one you get to see.
That's exactly right. It's like out of all the highlights of George Brett's career, what's the one do you think
he's running out of the thing? He's spitting mad.
It's the same with Jose Canseco. I mean, the guy hit like a 500-foot home run at Toronto, which gets played the day that it happens, but everybody remembers the ball bouncing off his head and over the fence. I guess we're always remembered for our worst moment. Not always. A lot of us are remembered for our worst moments. And this Filipino diver, that's what he's going to end up being remembered for. I wonder what Jordan Childs will be remembered for. Did you see about this? Wins bronze in the all-around exercise in the all-around gymnastics because of an appeal from Team USA that is then found to be by the governing body 4 seconds late, and so she's moved back to 5th while the Romanian finishes 3rd and gets the bronze medal. So now, you know, I was reading a little bit about this. Team USA says the inquiry, you're supposed to file your inquiry for the judges to review these, you know, whatever it is they're reviewing. We have 1 minute. You have 1 minute from when the score is posted to when you can make your inquiry. Team USA says the inquiry was filed 47 seconds after the score was posted, and a second statement came 8 seconds later. But they did not have video evidence of this until the IOC had already made its decision and stripped Childs of this Olympic bronze, which to me feels like, I don't know if she got out of town, if she got out of the country before this decision happened, because I would think, you know what, you can have this bronze medal over my cold, dead body. I could go find a safety deposit box and just put it in there, and you're never going to see that thing ever again. But I felt awful for her because to be awarded a medal and then to have it taken away days later when you've already done all the celebrating, and just feels almost like a step too far. I felt for her. It doesn't change who won the competition, Simone Biles, but it does change at least the medal count, and I'm sure it changes Child's view on the Olympics.
Some of those, I hadn't heard that story. That's wild, Phil. Some of those, I was watching some of the track events on the last couple of days, and they would just be 100th of a second different, and you're almost like, it looks like a tie. You got to give them both silver, or you got to give them both bronze, whatever it is, because you're like, how is that really? That margin from gold to bronze is not really that much, but some of them look like, man, I was like, man, you could have said tie goes to the runner for sure.
Did you watch the high jump in which the Kerr and McEwen, Kerr from New Zealand, McEwen competes for Alabama and is American. They finished in a tie and they had the choice whether or not to go to a jump off or to share the gold medal. They shared it 4 years ago. It wasn't the same competitors, but it was the same situation. In this case, it looked to me, I mean, Kerr and McEwen very briefly, just Kerr misses his last jump, goes over to McEwen. I think they shook hands briefly, said something to each other, and it was like they didn't even think about sharing this medal, about sharing the gold. They continued to compete. Kerr ends up as the winner. And I saw somebody on social media, I'm sure there were a few that did this, he called McEwen selfish because United States finished in a tie with China for the amount of gold medals. Each won 40. But when you look on this guy's bio, on his Twitter bio, he's a gambling writer. And it made me think, it's like, all right, this had more to do with you not winning your prop bet than anything else. It's like, here's an athlete that didn't feel like sharing this medal was proper for this competition. And I think he was viewing it a little bit more, meaning this poster, more about this guy cost me my parlay.
I saw where that runner from the islands that won the 100 meters when he said, "I'm not boisterous, I'm not arrogant like Noah Lyles." He is. I think there might have been a language thing that was going, because I don't think he meant it that way, but the words he chose to use, it's said a lot. He's like, "No, I'm way more low key." And then
I think he said, "I'm not arrogant or loud,
obnoxious,"
which Noah is.
But Noah, I wonder how much truth it was with your respiratory. If you have COVID and you can't breathe, why are you running? He definitely looked a step slower. I thought that was wild how they kind of kept that under wraps and still let him compete.
Well, did you also see how he came out when he was announced for the race? I mean, as fired up as anybody. It was like he ran fast. He got out there quicker than Dabo does. Coming out of Death Valley when Clemson's introduced.
Dabo.
But I mean, you think like that little bit of energy, maybe that could have been a little bit of a difference for him. I mean, just to win a bronze if you got COVID. But then I also remember what it was like 3 years ago. He wouldn't have been allowed to compete. I mean, he would have been tested ad nauseum. I mean, I had COVID the other day. It didn't, like last week, it felt awful just trying to walk to the street corner. He's running a 200 meter for crying out loud. 877-377-6963. Back to school right now. Stay back after class. Enjoy epic drink specials all week at the Back to School Costume Party at Twin Peaks in Rogers. Costume Party starts it starts today. Right today, goes through the end of the week. Celebrate the end of your kids' summer break with naughty schoolgirls at your local lodge. That's Twin Peaks and Rogers, where you find sports blasting from every angle, made from scratch fan favorites and 29-degree draft beer every single day. Your sports headquarters, Twin Peaks in Rogers. Also get your game day experience to go online, TwinPeaksRestaurant.com. More TVs, bigger screens, and scenic views. Always more to watch at Twin Peaks. Back to wrap up our second hour right after this.
This is halftime.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
It's kickoff in Arkansas and the 76th anniversary of Razorback football inside historic War Memorial Stadium. Begin the holiday weekend right with tailgating, the Hog Walk, the UA and UAPB marching bands, and Razorback football's 2024 opener. Call the Hogs on Thursday night, August the 29th, in a historic in-state matchup with the UAPB Golden Lions. Kickoff set for 6:30. Get your tickets at ArkansasRazorbacks.com, and we'll see you on Thursday, August 29th, 6:30 in Little Rock.
Football, fantasy drafts, new school supplies. It's my favorite time of year. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Born and raised in the River Valley, I know how crazy traffic can get this time of year. As kids head back to class, remember to use caution at crosswalks and in school zones. But not all accidents can be avoided. If you or your loved one is injured in a car wreck, call today. 479-769-1505. No win, no fee. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
Your home is your biggest asset. So when you decide to add a sunroom, a patio cover, a new driveway, or new windows, you need to call a company you can trust. Sawyers has been part of your community for over 30 years. They're insured, licensed, and have 100% financing for all of their products. Take all the worry out of your next project. Call Sawyers and let them handle it from permitting to completion. Sawyers, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas with a full showroom located in Fort Smith, or online at sawyers-sunrooms.com.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Jumping Jesus, why, oh why? Take the time to get inside. Get inside. So much yellow for? Who know what it's for? So why have so much yellow for?
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
We're going to wrap up our second hour here on Halftime with a phone call from Brian in Ozark, who I think had called up like about an hour ago, but then hung up before we took the phone call. He is back, though, with us. He must have had something very important. Brian, nice to hear from you. What's going on? And hello, Brian. You are on the air. Phones don't seem to work. I don't even know if he's really from Ozark. You know, every time Brian gets on the show or gets on any of the shows here on ESPN Arkansas, we usually start getting a lot of texts from people who actually do live in Ozark, who try to disavow that Brian actually lives there or was ever from Arkansas before. Yeah, but the phone didn't work there for a moment, unfortunately for him. 877-377-6963. Yeah, so we're bringing up the idea of, things that great athletes are known for that are not their championship moments. Can you think of anything that Robin Ventura did outside of getting punched in the head by Nolan Ryan about 8 times when he charged the hill. Like, he had a great major league career. He actually had a college hitting streak that was longer than Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak. So, I mean, Ventura did a lot. I mean, he was a really good ball player. But, Matt, everybody just remembers the headlock and him getting pummeled on his head.
Leon Lett, not once but twice.
Yes.
Miami Dolphins in the playoff game, and then in the Super Bowl, had the Don Beebe came and hit it back. That's another great player. Leon Lett was a heck of a player, but those are the 2 plays you remember Leon Lett.
Was there the one that I think I don't know if you'd mentioned it. Was it against the Dolphins? Like he went after
playoff
a fumble,
Dolphins,
kicked it into the end zone
in the snow. Yep,
I remember that one. Yeah, but I mean, is he in Canton?
No,
I mean, he had a great career.
I don't think he's. I don't. Let me look it up, but I don't think he was that good. I mean, he was a heck of a player, maybe like on the all 90s decade team, but I don't think he was Hall of Fame worthy.
877-377-6963. We'll get into the third hour of halftime here in a moment. Nate Olson from Scorebook Live stops by in about 20 minutes for a quick preview on high school football in the Natural State. Stay with halftime. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
TGI Fridays on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith now has meal deals starting at $9.99, which includes an entree, side, and fountain drink. Try their delicious 6-ounce sirloin served with seasoned fries for $15.99. The Bacon Ranch Chicken Sandwich with seasoned fries, $11.99. Chicken Caesar Salad for $10.99 and more. Their meal deals also include tasty chicken fettuccine Alfredo served with garlic breadsticks for $12.99 and a cheeseburger with seasoned fries for only $9.99. TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue, Fort Smith.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
At Lowe's, we know how to save pros time and money. Save 20% on 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of Valspar Defense or Cabot Stain. Plus, save 15% on your choice of 6 or more Purdy items. And get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 8/21 while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See store or Lowe's.com for details. Must be single receipt purchase. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, occasional showers, a few thunderstorms, especially across the north, and we could see some heavier rain, especially early today. Otherwise, partly to mostly sunny sky, a high mid-80s north, low 90s south. Clearing out the sky tonight, an overnight low near 70, and then a chance of isolated showers and storms Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 17 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
On hitthatline.com.
You got a team in here
Gotta respect it. Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no mock at halftime.
Even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Welcome back to halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. It is just 1 minute after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Got another hour left here on your favorite midday radio program before Ruskin and Zach will take you from 2 o'clock until 6 o'clock today. I saw the Morning Rush I saw Tide posted this earlier, and I don't know what this is about, but we'll find out tomorrow. Big news being announced tomorrow on the Morning Rush at 8 o'clock. That'll have to do with some of our programming, and again, I don't know what this is, so I'll be tuned in at 8 o'clock because I'm always up for big news, and that's not like coach speak coming. Like if the host of the morning show that you listen to every single day on this station says we got big news, chances are it's big news. It's like sometimes I don't know what to believe when I'm hearing from a coach. When I hear the phrase, to be honest with you, or I'm just being honest with you, or frankly, then that kind of makes me feel like I shouldn't believe the other things that are said when those words are not put in front of it. But I do believe it when Ty tells me that there's big news tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Usually in my day with Houston Nutt, and you'll see this with Sam Pittman, when a coach starts saying they have big news, that means they're going to put a walk-on scholarship. But we're kind of going away with the walk-on. So, yeah.
I still don't know if there's been any sort of decision about what you're going to do about walk-ons. But there will be big news at 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll see if there's going to be some sort of a celebration, when it happens, just like in the locker room. You were part of those celebrations too. Walk-on gets a scholarship. Everybody's jumping around, right?
Absolutely. And we need Tom Cruise jumping off the top of Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium like he finished the Paris. And they already had, Snoop was already back there in L.A. doing a concert. I mean, that was the ending of that. That was Tom Cruise. I mean, that's got to be in the next Mission Impossible. It's
I saw Paramount Pictures thanked him for everything he's done and all of that. And then Cruise answers back to him on Twitter, X. Can't wait until our next mission, with the word mission capitalized. Yeah. So how many have we had? 5 MI movies, right? Have there been 5 of them?
Well, and he did some of those. Was it Jack Ryan or Jack Reacher? He did some of those. He's kind of the American version of 007. I mean, he's kind of the American James Bond.
You know who else is like a James Bond? He's the James Bond of Texas Longhorn. No, he's not. He's more like the Blofeld of former Razorback fans. We got Brian here with us. He's trying once again. Brian, turn the radio down. I don't know if do you know who Blofeld is? Because I just called you Blofeld. What's going on?
Hey, not much. How y'all doing?
I'm great. Good to hear from you.
You too, man. I hadn't talked to you in a while. I know you've been on vacation and having a good time and all. But hey, so how's Arkansas's practice going? Have you checked them out yet?
Well, we hear from Arkansas practice. They're playing physical. They're moving the ball. They're looking good at positions they didn't look good last year. So I think it's some of the same stuff.
All right, cool. That's cool. Maybe we'll have a good year. But my question really is, and I'm sure you have the knowledge on this. Who sets the actual ticket prices for a game? Like for the SEC and all, is that like each individual school, or how's that come about?
Well, it would be each individual athletic administration that figures out what they want to charge for tickets. So I don't know who has a final decision as far as that's concerned, but I would assume that the final word goes to the athletics director. It's not like he's in on the research about it necessarily, but Yeah, I mean, ticket prices aren't the same team by team in this league.
Yeah, I noticed that because, I mean, we checked into getting, like, different tickets for different Arkansas games. I think I'm going to 3 or 4 anyway. But, like, to go to UAPB, the tickets are $20.
Well,
Unless
that's
you
also
get on
different
the
because it's in a different stadium, and it's a Thursday night,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you're expecting a sellout. I saw they were $30 tickets, so maybe the price has been lowered a bit.
Yeah, they said something about if you sit on the red roof something, it's $50 because I guess it's not reserved seating and it's got a bar or something like that. I don't know. I've never been there. I was just curious. And, like, of course, we got tickets for Tennessee game, and those are $80. But then when you get to, like, Texas, it's $145. And I was trying to figure out if it's just the opponent that increases the price or something.
Well, I think some major league teams have done that, where it's different pricing when the Yankees or the Red Sox come into town, and different pricing like when the Rays or the Athletics are coming to town. Maybe I really don't know what the tickets look like as far as that's concerned with football, but I know individual game tickets aren't the easiest thing to come by. And then when you go into the secondary market, I mean, it's just the market that's making that decision for you, or for whomever it is that's selling those tickets. Well, Brian, it is good to hear from you. And I mean, it sounds like Brian wants to go to Razorback games. Certainly he'd want to go to the Texas game, but it sounds like he wants to go to some other games as well. Got Robert here with us, too. Robert, good to hear from you, man. How are you?
Not bad, guys. How are you guys doing?
Really good.
I've been
17 days to
listening-
kickoff.
I've been listening to everybody talking about that Texas game, and I'm not a Texas fan, but I feel like if we were to beat Texas, or if we could, we're looking at a 7 or 8 win season, because if you can beat them, then you should have no issue beating Auburn or Mississippi State. Maybe I'm wrong in that concept. I just,
My thing is, right now, 17 days before the first game of the year, you don't know what you have with this team. You just don't. There's too many positions that are different from last year. What we're going off of is what media members are telling us, what they see at practice for however long they're allowed to watch, and what the coaches are seeing. It's right now, I think it's still more hope and projection than anything else. By the time you get to the Texas game, Robert, I think you know the kind of season you have. Now, there's the occasional one-off, like a huge upset against LSU to knock them out of the number one slot the last week of the season. Those sort of things are rare. I think by the time the Texas game comes around, you'll have a good idea whether or not Arkansas will play well against Missouri. By then, heck, they better have played well against Mississippi State. Better have played well against them. That's a team. I feel like that's against, not like must win. It's on the road, but hey, that's probably your best shot for a road victory this year.
I agree with you, but I feel like when we play in Stillwater and we play at Auburn, that's when I feel like we're going to have, like you were talking about, I feel like we're going to have a good identity in this team after those 2 games.
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
right.
after Stillwater, because you don't win in Stillwater, it may be a long year. I don't know, because I know it's just the second game of the year. But Oklahoma State's a good football team. They're not just up there just even though they're in the Big 12. They've been ranked to do well in that conference. So.
Well, and I think the thing about Oklahoma State that you expect is that they have an identity of toughness and the ability to open holes and run the ball with efficiency, and man, I mean, right now I think Oklahoma State has a better idea of what they have than of what Arkansas has. They have so many more returners coming from a team that won 10 games, including the bowl game last year. Like, Matt, when you were playing at Arkansas, you go into your third year, you go into your second year, you have a fairly good idea of what the identity of the team might be based upon who was returning from last year. Even right now in the players' minds, and maybe even in the coaches' minds, because they're only going up against their own teammates, they have to be wondering, it's not how do we match up against Oklahoma State or Auburn or A&M. You got to trust who you recruited, trust your ability to coach. But I would think in the back of their minds, they're wondering what they have too, because nothing feels like it's a given from one year to the next.
Sure. And real quick, can you ask Nate, does he feel like anybody can beat Greenwood in the 6A overall? And I'll let y'all go.
I will ask that exact question, Robert, and I'll tell you the answer already is no. I think his answer already is no. Matt, you've gone into a season, though, kind of knowing what the identity of your team is and what it is you're going to be good at and what it is that you might not necessarily excel in. I just think that's a little bit – it's got to be more difficult to know what you can bank on with so much uncertainty and so much player movement, especially for this year's team.
You got a pretty good idea. The other thing about camp, it's like when we had Mike Irwin on in the last little bit when he was talking about the baseball kid that came over. Is he number 28? I'm trying to see what number he's going to be, but already said, hey, he's going to be able to play. That's the beauty. That's fun in camp is when you kind of start seeing some guys like, okay, he can go. Okay, yeah, he can go, and people start kind of earning playing time right now, and it's pretty cool to see.
Harrison is 82. He's 28 reverse.
There we go. Okay.
No, hold on. You asked about his age, right? I think you were asking his age. I think he just turned 29. I think he just had a birthday over the weekend. He's number 82, but he's now 29 years old.
Yeah, and he's already flashing. I figured he would, and you'll have some other guys that'll be flashing a little bit. If Gums, we've heard some good words about him. So yeah, you kind of start seeing. Then on the defensive side of the ball too. You kind of start seeing who's going to be some of my substitutions, who's some of my guys that can go make plays.
I'll tell you, a part that I'm interested to see who's going to be standing there after Wednesday's practice when Travis Williams is up there talking. It's who is the second linebacker that's going to be speaking along with Xavier Sori. Wednesday is the one day that you hear specifically from linebackers, and usually they've had 3 players out there to represent their position group. Now, I think you have a sense that Xavier Sori is going to be the number 1 linebacker on the team and a chance that Brad Spence is number 2. Who else joins them out there? Will they keep it at 2 or will they send a third linebacker out there? To give you a sense of who they think may get a lot of playing time as well. Quick break on halftime. Nate Olson from Scorebook Live joins us for a little high school football chat right after this.
This is halftime.
I wanted to find someone who would embrace Arkansas and the opportunities to build on a rich tradition that includes 22 conference titles, 14 Sweet 16 appearances, 11 Elite 8 appearances, 6 Final Fours, and a 1994 NCAA championship.
The head coach of your Arkansas Razorbacks, John!
This video is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar.
Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Conneray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
General 4x4 repair, no problem. Come get you some. Has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Raise your glass, move your feet. Are you dead or asleep? Talking heads on the screen keeps you stuck in the stream where the rat race is rigged and the president's picked. Bad pain is fled. All the money spent, and I said, come baby, come baby. I said, come baby, come baby.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the host. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed to our hotline. Nate Olson is here with us today from Scorebook Live, covering all things high school athletics inside the state of Arkansas and really coast to coast when you look at the website. We've had Nate on Fridays. We're going to move him over to Mondays for this next football season, and we appreciate your time today. Nate, how are you?
Doing well. Good afternoon, fellas.
Yes, and a very good afternoon to you as well. When's our first game? You know, week 0 has got to be coming up soon, isn't it?
August 30th. We've got the Salt Bowl circled for that day for a lot of reasons. That's one of the highlight games. And, of course, if you remember, so leading off the season, we'll have 25 games to watch for the whole year. Then every week you'll be able to go to the site and see the 10 games to watch that week. We try to keep you up to date on everything, and so you know which the hot games are. And we talk about a lot of those on here, too. But the Salt Bowl definitely will be on that list, and that's where I will be with local radio here in the Little Rock area. But yeah, that's when we get going, week 0, and I always say it every year. Week 0 is kind of weird, and the first couple weeks, you know, sometimes there's not as many games the first week of 0, and then the last one is 3. But the coaches want it that way, and so that's the way it's been. And we'll go to games there. But yeah, it's not far off. It's the second week of fall camp for everybody around the state. A lot of teams are putting on pads today if they haven't already. I know my son at Bryant, so they were in full pads today. So, and it's been kind of unseasonably cool the last couple of days. We had a scrimmage on Saturday, and it was very nice Saturday morning. So the guys were getting a little bit of a break, but I think the heat's supposed to crank back up again, and just in time for these full pads. But they're used to it, and they know it's happening. But we're knocking on the door. It's very close.
I think near the top of the list for football fans across the state, and we had Robert in Fort Smith ask about this in the last segment. This is another year where Greenwood potentially not just dominant in their classification. Do you think Greenwood might be the best team in the state overall here in August, 2 weeks before it starts?
They're going to make an argument, and our preseason rankings are coming out in the next day or two. And my comment for their blurb was that there's going to be a point where the fans are disinterested in the games because they're going to be blowing everybody out, and they're going to be knocking on my door and emailing me about why they're not number one. And the interesting thing is those teams at the top, Parkview's going to start off number one. I'll just tease that to you right now. And they deserve it. They've got 7 Division I guys. They're rating champions 2-time in 5A. But Greenwood is going to be they don't play any of them. So they're going to run the table. I think they're going to beat everybody, and they're going to beat them pretty badly. They've got 4 Division I receivers. You got Kane Archer triggering that offense. It is going to be so explosive. I mean, I'm thinking upwards of the 50s probably are going to be averaging. It may go down a little bit because they're going to take those guys out. Their defense is not as veteran, but they've got Cash Archer over there, who is a great player, moved from the end to linebacker, and they'll fill in some other guys. They're going to be fine there. But that's going to be the big story, is some of these teams that will not play each other. Well, we could beat Parkview if Parkview's number one, and Greenwood would be number one. People say they could beat them. Bryant's not going to play them. Fayetteville's not going to play them. Now, Bryant will play Parkview, and a lot of people are going to watch that game because, especially in Greenwood, hoping that Bryant wins and is number one and then loses later so they can be number one. They've already talked about that. And, a lot of times I'd say, well, it's a little premature to talk about that stuff. Not with this team. They would have to really stumble, or something would have to happen injury-wise for them to not dominate. They're playing 3 7-8 teams in the non-conference. Bentonville West is the team that could give them the hardest game, but I think they'll run by them too. Then Northside and Harbor. Then you get into the conference schedule. Shiloh Christian waits in that first game of the slate, of the conference slate. But I don't think that game is close either. I think they've got a juggernaut of a team, the defending champs, and you've got a 4-star guy triggering that offense with that many weapons. I mean, people have mentioned it to me. They're like, how does a high school team cover 4 receivers like that? And I said that they don't. That's the answer to that is they don't. All 4 of those guys are fast. They catch the ball. And Greenwood, they're very creative with the way they run things. And then you've got that many weapons and a guy that's good triggering the offense. There's just a million ways you can beat the defense. So I think they are very good. I would have Parkview number one, and you'll see those rankings. But yeah, by the end of the year, they could definitely make the case for it, and they're going to try to do that too, and maybe do it even like week 4 or 5.
Nate, I heard you say Northside right there. Is Northside, is the Fort Smith Northside Grizzlies, are they going to be any good this year?
I would not count on that. And they lost McLean Moody, their quarterback, who looks a lot like you, very tall guy in the picture, but he is not going to play. So that really hurt them because, he was kind of their, the game breaker, and even with him, they were going to have problems. But I think they would like to be, better off than they are and have more talent, but they're sitting at the bottom of that West. They do have 11 starters returning. I mean, it's a situation, Matt. Coach Curry is not a bad coach. And they've had some success. They've been in the Central before, but they've had some bad breaks with injuries. They had Brian on the ropes one year and couldn't get couldn't get it done. You know, they had them stacked up on 4th and goal and couldn't finish the deal off. They've been close, but I think this Moody thing, this really hurts him because he's 6'6", about 200 pounds, and you know he's your playmaker.
Did he transfer, or is he just
there.
not, or is he just not playing?
Decided not to play, and I think that was a decision that was made in the summer, because as far as I knew going into the, you know, in the off season, he was a part of the team. I think that he made that decision possibly when football started up in June, but it was reported by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, Leland Barkley, about a week ago, that he was no longer on the roster. So, and you know, a guy who is a great baseball player, Phil will be calling his game soon. I mean, I don't blame him, but it is a blow to the ball club because he is going to be hard to replace at quarterback, and they just don't have a lot of depth that they need. The 7A West is tough, as you know, but possibly, you know, you've got Harbor that might be in front of them, Rogers. There's some teams there that if they played well enough that they could get in the playoffs, but, you know, a lot of people have them sitting right outside the playoffs, and I think with Moody not being in there, that probably even lowers the chances, and some people didn't think as highly of him even with him there. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news there. Hopefully they get things going and they surprise some people.
Let me move over to 7A here for a little bit, because Fayetteville last year ended Bryant's 5-year reign at the top of the 7A classification in the state. 2 questions here. You know, one, Pulaski Academy's moved up to 7A. It's kind of jarring to see them there, because I remember when PA was still in the 4A classification.
I know.
What does that do to the 7A Central? And then do you see potentially Fayetteville having a chance to come out on top of that classification again?
Yeah, well, PA, you know, Anthony Lucas and that staff is so good. They know they can compete 11 on 11. They have good players. They've got a good quarterback, Cobb, and some receivers. You know, they pass the ball well, always execute good. I mean, I've got them penciled in around the 3rd spot in the Central. We did where we predicted all the orders of finish, and in every class, and I had them 3rd. The problem is going to be injuries. They've got 55 kids. Bryant has 80 that they're taking on the road with them. They'll have 100 at home. So they're gonna run defensive linemen in and out of the game, and they've got a big left tackle named Evan Goodwin who's getting recruited by everybody, and he's going to get you know, double team 2 or 3 guys fresh on him all the time. And by the 3rd quarter, you know, we're going to find out what he's made of. And he's a really good player, but they're going to come after him, and they don't, you know, have the depth. So that's going to be an issue, but I think they're going to do better than people think, and I think they might even pull off a playoff upset with the right matchup. But they kind of bumped Cabot down. I think Cabot, I don't think, is going to have as good a year, and I could see Little Rock Christian, who's also moved up, possibly getting in that 4th spot if Kevin Keller, the quarterback who's taking over for Walker White, if he matures. He was at PA, heard a lot of good things about him in junior high. If he matures and develops, that's a possibility that both those teams make the playoffs in the 3rd and 4th seed. Fayetteville, have them highly ranked, and the reason that I do, I would be more reluctant to do that had they not gotten a couple transfers in. You know, they lose Drake Lindsay, the all-everything quarterback, kind of came out of nowhere after a good junior year, kind of came out of nowhere then, and then had an even better senior year. He's at Minnesota, but Casey Dick gets a break by Garrett Odom, Barry Odom's son from Las Vegas, Nevada, comes in after 1 year at private school, started his career off at Shiloh Christian, and then moves out to Vegas with his dad. Now he's back in Fayetteville, got some family members there, and so he is a very highly regarded quarterback going to UNLV. He brings also another UNLV recruit with him named Parker Meese, who is a 4-star linebacker. Those two, he'd been at IMG Academy from the Plano, Texas area. Those 2 guys, to me now, they put Fayetteville back in contention to repeat. I would not feel as bullish about them doing that had they not got those 2 guys in. Now, they both have to adjust to the system, but Odom has a great receiver in Jason DeLamar, who you'll see on the baseball field next year at Arkansas. Great receiver, great outfielder, speedy guy. So you've got a weapon there and a couple others that he just needs to mesh with. But he came in January, so that kind of put him over the top of me. I was not sure how they were going to do without Lindsey, but that makes me feel better about their chances. Just like Conway, you feel better about them getting Grayson Wilson in there, a 4-star quarterback. Now all of a sudden they replace a 3-year starter with a Razorback recruit and a big-time quarterback. Now you feel better about them maybe pushing Bryant in the Central now.
Last thing, and we move over to the 5A West. Tommy Tice returning to coach after a short retirement at the age where a lot of coaches are thinking about ending their careers. 72 years old, Tommy Tice. I think that's Nick Saban's age as well, and he just has moved on to television now. But I know you guys have Farmington picked very high in the 5A West. Tell me about them.
He is a great coach and an even better person. Everybody knows a lot of people that he coached, Brandon Burlsworth at Harrison, and think so much of that family is on the board of that. And I joked on our podcast today that'll air or publish soon, but that maybe his wife kicked him out of the house. She wanted him out because he played too much golf and was just sitting around now. I don't know. But I know that guy can coach. He's one of the all-time winningest coaches. And, J.R. Eldridge did a great job of developing that program over 3 years, really quicker than people thought. They have 8 returning starters, but the West looks like that's going to be very winnable for them. Greenbrier could challenge them moving down from 6A, but they got a decent quarterback in Aiden Kirkpatrick. Aiden Lee, is the starter, and Kirkpatrick's behind him. But Lee last year got in some games and did well, 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns. So he's primed to have a good season, and that's always good. Matt knows that. The quarterback, he's going to support that. You've got a good quarterback, you can go far. But they've got some holes to fill. They're going to have to adjust to him. But we definitely like his pedigree. The West is a different West now without Shiloh in it. Greenbrier is a team that I think could, like I said, make some noise. And Harrison is in your neck of the woods. A lot of people like it. The 3 spot, they could challenge too. There's going to be some good games there. And they've got a great player named Eli McNutt, 6'3", 220, 4.6 speed. Maybe in the shades of Peyton Hillis a little bit. Plays running back and linebacker, a possible Division I recruit. Harrison would love to be up in the conversation for that 5A West. So those 3 teams right there will have some good battles, but very intriguing with Tice coming back, and that's something that we will keep an eye on for the whole year on how that goes. But I know they were real excited. I think he's got some grandkids in the Farmington system, so he's been around there. And I think that was a home run hire. Eldridge left in May to do private business, and so you're kind of scrambling around for somebody, and then, oh, by the way, there's a Hall of Fame guy sitting here that's interested. Okay, we'll hire him. So that West will be very entertaining.
Nate, we'll leave it there, and we'll visit again on Monday next week. Appreciate your time, and we'll be reading you on Scorebook Live.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Nate.
Nate Olson, Scorebook Live. He's with us Mondays on Halftime Now. Hey, looking to do some pond or creek fishing? Nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crick Hopper. Twitch it, pop it, walk it, swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The Crick Hopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. And you find the Rebel Crick Hopper at lurenet.com and tackle shops everywhere. 877-377-6963, our number on Halftime or the home stretch, and back after this.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
What makes Crabtree RV Center different? First, we are a 4th-generation family-owned business taking pride in making your family's dreams come true. No corporate mentality here. Second, we've been in business for 74 years, founded in 1950 here in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas area. We are not going anywhere. What does that mean for our customers? A family feel with no corporate hidden fees. The reassurance that we will be here for generations to come, and knowledgeable salespeople who want to pick the right RV for your family to make lifetime memories in. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Whether you own a local business or a global one? You know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Sportsmith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Warning, warning, attention all homeowners. Hi, this is Justin at West Termite Pest and Lawn. It's definitely bug season and we are priced to earn your business. Licensed in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Call today for a free evaluation, 479-782-7291. West Termite Pest and Lawn, protecting your home, health, and peace of mind.
All services performed with children and pets in mind.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Sometimes it's hard to make time for the things that keep you healthy, but being consistent with self-care is like working a muscle. And when life gets crazy, that muscle keeps you strong. Therapy is the ultimate self-care, and BetterHelp makes it easy to get started with affordable online sessions so you can do it from anywhere. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/like today to get 10% off your first month.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Drink some dirty water, shook evil hands. Done some bad things, make it easier to do. And then I wrote a nasty letter, and I sent it to the Lord. I said, don't you dare come and bother me.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Let's see what I got my eyes on this weekend. Kids were getting ready for school, so I helped them out with that a little bit, a little clothes shopping, a little haircut action, and just tried to make sure they could enjoy their last weekend of supposed child freedom before school starts. Did get to watch for the first time, and I felt like I should have seen this before, American Hustle, movie with Bradley Cooper and Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Jennifer Lawrence. I think that came out 11 years ago. It's really entertaining. Felt like I should have seen it before. And I started, and you guys know that I introduced my son to Godfathers 1 and 2. He hasn't asked about Godfather 3 for the time being, so I'm going to wait for him to ask about it, and then maybe if he wants to watch it, we'll put it back on. But it's like you wonder sometimes about how you miss that show or this show or whatever. And this one came out 2 years ago. It's called The Offer, and it is basically the story of how The Godfather came together and how it was made. I did not know until watching this show, as long as everything is true about this, that the same producer from The Godfather was also the guy that came up with the idea for Hogan's Heroes. Feels like one story might be a little bit more complex than the other, but I like this. I like this one too, and Matt, I think you'd like it as well because it's kind of like also it's played in the early 1970s, and I think the first scene starts in like 1970 at some point, or maybe even 69. So it feels like it's not too far off from that same time period in which. To Live and Die in Los Angeles, or another. I'm forgetting our movie from Tarantino with
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's the one. It kind of felt like it's the same time period, and man, I mean, you also get a little bit of a sense of maybe they might not put horse heads in every bed of a casino operator that's not taking part in their ideas, or movie producer too, but it seems like they might have even pulled something like that off with Robert Evans one time.
They got a movie called The Nice Guys. It's Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, where they go around in the 70s. Same decor, same type of vibe that you're talking about, but they're, the 1970s Los Angeles mismatched pair of private eyes. It's like trying to put the kids together, but it's a pretty good one. That's a funny one.
How long does it take you? When you open up whatever streaming app you open up in the evening, how long does it take you before you settle on something? If you haven't opened it up and knowing exactly what it is you're going to watch. It's like yesterday, I filtered through 3 different apps before finally settling on The Offer. And I was like, how have I not heard of this thing before? I looked through Netflix, I looked through Apple Plus, and finally find this one on Paramount. And it took me 20 minutes to get there finally. And I already started 2 other things, and 3 minutes into it, I'm like, this looks like it's no good. It's not like you really get a sense of something for 3 minutes, but it didn't entertain me for those 3 minutes. When I put The Offer on, I was like, all right, now I found my thing. Now I know what I'm going to watch for the next few days, and then I got to sit there and figure it out again. Look at standing there with the remote control up and my finger on it, and my mouth hanging open, almost like my tongue's open. I feel like I look like a complete idiot trying to figure out what I'm going to watch. But that's what I'll look like again in 4 days. You know what this means? Football season can't come soon enough.
Sometimes it's fun to peruse and check it all out. Do you remember this? I don't know if C Movie will remember this, Phil, but there was a channel. It would have been whatever the Entertainment Tonight channel was on. But it would be 30 minutes of just previews of what the next movies were coming out. I don't think they show that anymore, but that's kind of what you do when you're perusing. You look at it for 180 seconds to see, you watch the trailer. But that used to be a pretty cool show.
And they still put 30 minutes of trailers in front of the movie that you go out and see. Did I see where Wolverine and Deadpool is now the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time? Now, so when I went to see that movie a couple of weeks ago, it's like that was the only option. I feel like this is one of the reasons that it's making all this money. I think this theater had something like 20 different showings that day, which means you got to have 2 an hour. It was just a little jarring, thinking all right, so you couldn't make the 3:20, but we can make a 3:40. If we couldn't make that, we can make the 4 o'clock, or we can make the 4:20. You get so many options to see it. My son put Deadpool on as well Friday morning, and it's like I started watching that with him, and I hadn't seen those first 2 movies, and then I thought, okay, that's why they did this thing with Wolverine. He's got a thing for Wolverine from the start.
First time since 1990. You'll know both these movies. Bruce Willis, Die Hard 2, Demi Moore's Ghost. They were 1 and 2 in the box office, so that's a husband and wife. They got that going on there, which I don't think It Ends With Us was going to stay at number 2 very much longer. But yeah, I mean, Deadpool. I think if you're a sophomore in high school, Phil, you'd probably go see this movie 3 times in the theaters.
Trying to think, like, what movies did I go see twice in the theater? I saw Dances with Wolves twice in the theater. And outside of that, I don't know. I might have seen Pulp Fiction twice in the theater.
I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 3 times in the theater. I went 3 times to watch it. Yeah.
It is different when you see it in the theater, isn't it? A lot different when you see it in the theater. Well, that's all. Watching the previews now is also one of the things that is a little bit annoying when you're opening up like Netflix, because the first thing that happens when you scroll onto something is that you get the trailer and it's whatever level of volume. So you just got to keep scrolling all the way through. So what was this? This is Gosling and Blake Lively are 1 and 2 in the box office. The first time that a husband-wife combination has been 1-2 in the box office since 90?
Wrong Ryan, but Ryan Reynolds.
Who did I say?
Gosling.
Different one.
He's the private detective in the 70s with Russell Crowe. Yeah.
Die Hard 2.
Who was the bigger star out of Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, and then Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively? It's no question, right, that Bruce Willis was the biggest star in the world when Die Hard 2 came out.
I think he was, yeah. I think he was, but that's a tough question. That is a tough question to ask. I saw Die Hard 2 in the theater. I actually remember the experience of seeing that movie in the theater, because I didn't see the first one in the theater, and I felt, well, because that was 1990, 13 years old, got my way into an R-rated movie, and nobody did anything about it. Didn't have to have a fake ID, not like I had one at age 13 anyway. Did I see Ghost in the theater? I think I did, because that would have been, like, Ghost was the biggest thing when it came out. And not only, I mean, that might have been the time where Whoopi Goldberg was still dating Ted Danson. That was so long ago.
Whoopi.
Oh, gosh. That was something else. Jason and Centerton saw Pulp Fiction in the theater twice. Chris saw Raiders of the Lost Ark 3 times in the theater. He was born 10 years after it was released.
I went and saw the original Star Wars in the movie theater about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing a one-day showing, and we just happened to see that it was happening. So that would have been the only reason how I saw that one in the theater.
A C movie at some point, if I ever get around to actually doing it. The Rocky Horror Picture Show every once in a while is still shown on screens nationwide, just little art houses here and there. If I could sit next to you watching a Rocky Horror Picture Show, just watching your face more than the movie, I think it might be actually more entertaining. We can get into that at some point. And we'll be back to wrap up halftime right after this.
Jones, don't be so cool, dude.
This is halftime.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles. 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salad. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Football, fantasy drafts, new school supplies. It's my favorite time of year. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Born and raised in the River Valley, I know how crazy traffic can get this time of year. As kids head back to class, remember to use caution at crosswalks and in school zones. But not all accidents can be avoided. If you or your loved one is injured in a car wreck, call today. 479-769-1505. No win, no fee. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Here we go, Arkansas. The current Lotto jackpot is over $2.5 million. Someone right here in Arkansas is going to win a life-changing jackpot. How do we know? Because Lotto is only played and won here at home. Feeling good about your chances? Try Lotto today for only $2 per play. Get your ticket at any Arkansas lottery retailer or on the Jackpocket app. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for problem gambling helpline.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's doing all right.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
All right, going to wrap up halftime now with a reminder that the Eastside Liquor Halftime podcast comes out shortly once the show is complete. We'll have our conversations with Nate Olson and with Mike Irwin on the Eastside Liquor Halftime podcast today. Ruskin and Zach coming up at 2 o'clock, taking you until 6. Tomorrow's halftime will include Chuck Barrett at 11:15. Have him for a couple of segments. And let's see, we should be speaking with Alyssa Orange. I wonder how bad Alyssa's jet lag is coming back from France mid last week. And then Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio scheduled during our 1 o'clock hour. It's been a while since I flew anything like Alyssa just flew. It took the last time I did anything like that, it would take like a day to get over the jet lag. But I'm sure by now she's got to be pretty happy that she's around family and around her around home after, gosh, that was like 3 weeks that she was out there in France. Hey, Matt, did you see that the University of Michigan will be having Jim Harbaugh as the honorary captain against Fresno State for their first game of the season? First game of the year, bringing in the head coach that didn't just take them to a national championship, but has been given a 4-year show cause penalty by the NCAA last week. And hey, I don't know if the game against Fresno State is appointment viewing, but I would say the moment that Jim Harbaugh gets an NBC microphone in front of his face, that might be appointment viewing that day.
You know, the rules are for all of us because Coach Jim Harbaugh obviously just does whatever he wants.
Never cheated, never lied,
man.
All of that.
He's a G, man. He had one goal, one purpose. I mean, there was one mission when he took over at the Michigan Wolverines, and that was to win a national championship at all cost. And he was able to do that. Now, Lloyd Carr, I guess, was their last one to win one. I don't think there's a statue of Lloyd Carr. Is there a statue in 4 years? You think Coach Harbaugh has a statue in front of the big house?
Well, they might as well put it up in 3 years while the show cause penalty is still under enforcement. Do that. I mean, he can't be the coach. Can't be a coach really in college, but he can certainly have a statue of him out there.
How do you think he's going to do at San Diego this year? Do you think
I think a lot of it has to do whether or not Justin Herbert is healthy.
Fair enough, right? Fair enough.
But, I mean, I trust that he can win. I really do. I mean, he won at Stanford. He won immediately with the 49ers. I just think there's something about his personality that's a little bit grating to potentially, like, ownership or whomever it is that's running things. But the guy's a winner. I mean, I think he played above his level when he was in the NFL, above his talent level. I think he was a better quarterback than he probably should have been. And I think he's a really good coach. It feels to me like players like playing for him. I think he'll win with the Chargers.
Yeah, you know, speaking of quarterbacks, when he had Alex Smith, and they made the move to Kaepernick, and I get it, he can do some other things, but Alex Smith finally started kind of playing up to his potential when Harbaugh got a hold of him.
Great to be back with you on a Monday here on Halftime, and Ruskin and Jack coming up in just a moment. 17 days to kick off. Man, I wish tomorrow we were actually getting our first game started. These 17 days are going to feel like 34 days multiplied by 2. Stay tuned for Ruskin and Jack, and we're back with you tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. For Matt Jones, for Christian Johnston, I'm Phil Elson. Thanks for listening today. That's Halftime. Get up, get out, get better.